Hello and welcome back to our channel. Thank you for all the supporters and all those of you who have subscribed. Our subscribe numbers are growing potentially. Thank you very much for all your support. Thank you for everyone that is sharing and liking our program. Now today, as I promised Monday, today we're going to speak about land reform. Now out of the starting blocks, I just want to ask another question. And I've raised this question before, but if this is your first time watching these videos, I urge you to go and look at the other 7 so you can understand the building blocks to where we are up to today. The question I'm going to raise again is, we've got so many politicians raising their voices in parliament and on stages and everywhere they go, and what comes out of their mouths? Land reform, land reform, land reform. Even some politicians who's pushing for violence to get people off the ground. But yet they still have failed, all of them, to even mention human trafficking or to even mention trafficking of children. I think it's a clear indication that these power-hungry individuals really don't care about you or me. It's all about the wealth, it's all about the power. And the thing about, for land reform is, the question rises is land reform for what is on the ground, or is land reform more for what is in the ground? Just for a question for you to ponder. But the great news is in about a year's time from now, we will all have that perfect summer bodies we were all looking for, because a lot of us is going to lose a lot of weight. And the reason of that is not some health yoga program or Pilates or whatever. It's because we're going to run into shortages of food. And what contributes to that? Well, we've got load shedding. Our water, 50% plus of our water cannot be consumed anymore. It's poisoned by sewage. So the list carries on. You know, all these little points, the little struggles that we are going through in South Africa. But I'm going to throw another jackals into the chicken pen. And what do you think is the average age of a farmer in South Africa? Is it 40 years, 30 years, 10 years? The reality is the average age of a South African farmer is 62 years of age. Average. Where is the farmers going to be in 5 years from now? How many of them will have passed on? Now this is a serious threat to our economy. Not just that, it's a serious threat to you and me. Where are we going to get our food from? A little case study when it comes to Zimbabwe. And once again, I'm just going to skip through it very, very fast. Is once again BSAC, a British South African company under the rule of Mr. Cecil John Rhodes, of which Rhodesia was named, of Rhodes, went up to the country we know today as Zimbabwe, and did exactly the same what they did in South Africa. The only difference in South Africa was that the 2 tribes, the Boers and the Zulus, were the only 2 tribes that gave physical resistance to it. And the only way they could win was to put people in concentration camps and let women and children die. And even up to today, they are still plundering our grounds. And even up to today, they didn't even have the courtesy to just say sorry for what happened. But hey, that's just history 101. I believe the politicians, most of them don't even know it, because some of them can't even read. But so be it. So what happened in Rhodesia is the Brits went up there, saw that this was beautiful arable land, and Zimbabwe or Rhodesia was known as the breadbasket of Africa because they produced so much food, and the sand and the ground quality was amazing. And apart from that, all the minerals in the ground. And eventually the British withdrew, and the rest went down, and Robert Mugabe and ZANU-PF, they won the elections, and they took over control of the country for the next 4.5 million years. And eventually what happened is everything deteriorated, and some of the war veterans and the generals went into a state of land grab. Does that ring a bell? And today they are importers of food and exporters of their citizens, because take yourself for a vacation up there if you really want to go see how things are up there. I've been through there. It's shocking. Literally on the border of Bay Bridge, one side it's nice and green and luscious, and the other side it's dead because there's no animal control. The donkeys are walking, doing what they want. Doesn't matter how far you drive, all you see is just open land. And the initiative of planting is few and far between. So this is where we're heading. This is not scary fairy stories. This is reality. So let's go and ring that bell again of Robert Mugabe, whose generals and veterans went into this land grab thing and took all the farms, which is still not producing anything today. And let's see how this played out. But let's use that template. And what I'm going to do is, was an article in 2019. There's it. Farm flipping, how land reform was, broken by the elite. This was a article that was published in the Mail and Guardian, so I'm going to quote Mail and Guardian today. But this publishment comes from a investigation from the Special Assignment Group of the SABC. And I'm just going to quote from this. This is not the only, you can Google it, please do. And you will find this article on the Mail and Guardian. And you can read it for yourself. It's a hefty document, it's about 5 pages long. But I'm going to quote a piece out of this. And it goes as follows. Billions of rands earmarked for the development of agrarian economy have been squandered across all provinces. Not millions, billions, says Ruth Hall, a member of President Cyril Ramaphosa's Land Reform Advisory Panel and professor at the University of the Western Cape's Institute for Poverty, Land and Agrarian Studies. The panel was appointed in December 2018 to research the problems of land reform. Her findings point to a shocking scenario of the capture of land reformed by the elite. First bell. What we have found is that politically connected individuals and companies are getting lucrative contracts from the state to take over land reform farms with subsidies that should be directed to impoverished rural farm dwellers and emerging commercial farmers. They are fleecing the state in collusion with the politicians at the most senior levels of land reform. And they are getting away with it. She adds, it's making a mockery of land reform. Several former and current officials in the land department who requested anonymity complain of a culture of patronage where favours are meted out to Lutuli house comrades in farms, and orders are issued to officials to carry them out. In flagrant violation of government policy, they have provided documents, emails and findings of forensic investigations into blatant abuse of power, perpetrated by officials on state-owned farms, in collision with corporate and comrades alike. This alleged corruption has been focus of a 4-year investigation by SABC Current Affairs Program Special Assignment and is now being published by Mail and Guardian. The elite's capture of land reform dates back to the early 2000s, but seems to have spiked between 2009 and 2018, when Jacob Zuma became president and Gugule Nkwete was appointed Minister of Rural Development. That is the quote I wanted to read to you. Currently, as far as we know, the state owns more than 6,000 farms. I'm still trying to find where the farms are that is productive, that is showing a profit. So you've got 6,000 farms, pieces of land lying there, doing nothing. Furthermore, you've got problems with your electricity. Your water quality is deteriorating rapidly. So is this going to influence the production of harvest in the future? And yes, that's all I can say, definitely. And the prices of diesel is constantly climbing, so it is becoming more difficult every day for farmers to survive. You have got a lot of exodus of farmers leaving South Africa, and they are looking for more lucrative grounds. Some of them are Zambia, and recently some of these farmers are leaving for Russia. And because these economies are in need of these people's skills, and this is what we are losing, is these people's skills. Some of these farmers have been on those lands for 4 or 5 generations, and there is a big difference between subsistence farming, where you only grow enough vegetables and fruit and chickens and on your farm just to support yourself. But when it comes to commercial farming, things get very, very technical. I'm not an expert on it, so I'm not going to elaborate. But I know it is literally millions of rands that must go into the fields every year. And then they start hoping and praying for rain. Otherwise, all of that crops is gone. So the future of our food resources is looking very, very bleak. And yet our politicians want the land. I just want you to do that little calculations and how this is going to work up. 3SA has got a different view about this, and our view is that we need to quadruple our farming communities. South Africa has the potential to be one of the biggest exporters of food, and one of these days we're going to be a major importer of food. The people on the farms are currently the ones who's got the skills. And I'm quite sure that if there's an attitude change towards these farmers, these people will be more than glad to help emerging and upcoming farmers. What South Africa needs is a broader base of small farmers that needs to grow their farming or their practices into bigger farms. And I'm going to speak about the big farmers a bit later. Oaks that literally owns a few farms, and our mega farmers, as I refer to, and the problems that is coming down the way there. But we need to look at what's going around us. And it is easy to stand on the stage and shout and get people hyped out over ground. But what are you going to do with it? We need to really sit down, and I believe once again is when we come down to tribal level, is instead of fighting each other once again, is to start working together. We need to kickstart our farming, agricultural businesses with a huge bang. We need to invest heavily into this. And one of the things that we said is to put incentives out for the current farmers to help emerging farmers. What breaks farming at the end of the day in South Africa, and what is the sting to them is, for example, vegetable farmers. These oaks work hard on those lands, and they bring those produce to the markets, and they get auctioned off. they get auctioned off to packers. Now, packers don't even own any ground. They are the middleman. So they want to buy an onion for 50 cents, but they want to go and sell that onion for 5 rand. And the people that's picking up the profit in the middle, these people are not even farmers. They don't own anything. They don't grow anything. They are the packers and distributors. We seriously need to look at this, and we seriously need government intervention into this, to regulate this, because we need to support our farmers, every one of them. I don't care where my food comes from, whether it's a white guy or Indian guy or colored guy or black guy or guy in crutches. I don't care. I need food. We all need food. And we need to support our farmers. Now, every time a farmer dies, and it is not just farmers, any person that dies in South Africa, especially, but the problem with farmers is these are people that produce. We lose another plot of land that is producing food. And this is becoming a serious issue. We are not going forward. So at the end of the day, if we sit in this country in a year's time and we look at each other in the eye and there's no food, well, this is the problem. Now, I sympathize to the people that is staying into informal areas or areas where there is little to no development. Now, let's do this balances quickly. Just think quickly. Your diet, because you stay on a grant that cannot sustain you. So, can you afford decent food? And the answer is no. So let's do this calculation. So your body needs the necessary nutrients and vitamins to function, and you can't supply it because our farmers can't afford to grow anymore. Our agricultural industry is hampered by government. And now you sit in an area where the sewage is running down the road. Now, if you go and ask, I'm not a medical person, but if you calculate those two, we're going to have a lot of sick people in future. And a lot of people are going to die because of this. Now, you know where the problem lies. Why is the sewage running down the road? Why is there no electricity? Why is our farmers being attacked? Why is our railway system that is not there to support our farmers running properly? Why is our harbours not operating to maximum capacity or operating at all? Why? You do the calculations. I'm sure that it is not in everybody's pants to become a farmer. It is hard labour, it's hard work. You're not just a farmer, you must be a mechanic, a plumber, electrician. You must be able to do everything. Farming in South Africa is a hard business. It is not for the fake it hard. It is really, you have to wake up early, go back late, and there is no holiday for most of these people. The whole day, work. So next time when you eat something, think where your plate of food is coming from. It's not coming from the shelf. Where did that come from? Do you think, it came by truck, but where did the truck hit it? It comes from the farms. It is our farmers that's producing it. We need to, as I said, it's our view is to, our farming community, we need to quadruple it at least. Africa, South Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa has got the potential by far to become the breadbasket of Africa. But we need to get all our ducks in a row. We need to support our farmers in all means possible. We need to get our SOEs in order to help these farmers to get their produce to the markets. Instead of using road networks that is very expensive, it's much cheaper to transport it by rail. And another thing that we feel very strongly is we need to return to the origins of farming. We need to bring back our heritage seeds. And this GMO and modified foods need to go. This is rubbish we put into our bodies that is stipulated by government. We need to turn the ship around. It is not just it's not about making farming lucrative. It's about survival. It's about eating. That's what it's all about. So think about the few points I just mentioned to you, and think again when one of these politicians makes a racket when it comes to land reform. Grab the land, steal the land. 10 to 1, this idiot can't even grow a pot plant, but he's encouraging you to take land. What are you going to do with it? We need to expand agriculture, we need to learn. And while these people, these experts, 62 years and on average old, is still around, we need them to help us, to teach the people how to farm. These are the people that's got the knowledge. You can't Google it. It's not going to work. These people need to teach people how to farm. If you want to eat, that is the way to go. Or just ask one of the Zimbabwean brothers if it's nice to go to bed hungry. This is where we're heading. So thank you for those supporting our channel. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and that little bell icon notification of a new movie coming out. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.